One of the few things I try not to talk about is racism. But maybe now is the time. I'm not sure. It's been on my mind, so here we go. First off, it's never right for anyone to be treated differently because of the color of their skin. The way I see it, we were all created equal. If you believe in God, great. God created us all. If you don't, that's fine too. But whatever force or process created us, made us all. We are one race, the human race. I've heard some awful stories about how black people were treated years ago, and they're terrible. Those times were dark, and the pain from that history still lingers. But we can't change the past. Does that mean we forget it? No. But it does mean we should learn from it. Here's what I believe. If you don't want to be treated differently, then don't act as though you expect to be. I understand that people have been teased or targeted for being black, or for 1,000 other reasons. But here we are in 2025. While racism is still an issue, we can't deny the progress that's been made. Yes, someone might say something rude or mean, but people do that to everyone. It's not always about race. Handicapped people get teased unfairly. People who are overweight are judged. This world isn't always kind, and sometimes people are just cruel. What I struggle with is when someone uses their race, or anything they were born with, as an excuse for their actions or behavior. Let me explain with 2 examples. Once, I worked at a temp agency. It was a system where jobs were assigned based on when you showed up. Early birds got the better choices. I'll call this guy Frank. He and I were often late, so we'd get stuck with whatever was left. One day, the only job available was hauling concrete blocks. We were both assigned to the job, and within 15 minutes, Frank started complaining. He said the boss was making him work too hard because he was black. The truth? Everyone was carrying the same blocks at the same pace. It was a chain. Grab a block, walk it 100 feet, lay it down, repeat. Frank sat down after every 4th trip saying, "I'm a black business owner. I shouldn't have to work like this." He eventually got sent home. As he left, he caused a huge scene, claiming he was being treated unfairly because of his race. But the reality was, he wasn't keeping up with the job like everyone else because of a choice he made. Another time, there was a woman I'll call Annie. She worked at a department store, but she often disappeared for hours, leaving her tasks unfinished. This meant others had to pick up the slack after their own work was done. She was written up multiple times, but never changed her behavior. Eventually, she was fired. Annie went to corporate and claimed it was because she was black. She got her job back. After that, whenever coworkers refused to help her because she wasn't doing her part, she reported them for treating her differently because of her race. She even got them talked to by management. Management was too afraid to act, and she continued disappearing on the job. People didn't dislike her because of her skin color. They disliked her because of her actions. I'm not saying this behavior is exclusive to one race. People, all people, can act like jerks. It's not about color. It's about being human. We're flawed, and we can't exist in this world thinking in black and white terms, literally or figuratively. Sometimes people should be treated differently because of physical limitations. For example, someone with a speech impediment shouldn't be forced to give a verbal presentation to a class until they've built the confidence to do so. A guy with no leg shouldn't be made to work as a tree climber unless he wants to. That's reasonable. But being black isn't a disability. It's not a reason to be treated better or worse. It's just one of many things that make someone who they are. I know this is a complex issue, and there are so many layers I can't fully unpack in one post. One of my favorite movies, Boys and the Hood, sheds light on some of the struggles African Americans face. Even so, it doesn't cover everything. It's just one perspective, a powerful one, but not the whole story. Here's my takeaway. There is no black. There is no white. There is no left or right. There are just shades of gray. Most of us live in that gray area together, and that's where we need to focus, on the things that unite us, not divide us. Vince.